Well, are you going to stay with me?
Forever.
But not really. Welcome, boys and girls, to another long overdue review of Doctor Who. In the build-up to the next Chris Chibnall train wreck, we look back to the past when the show was a bit more bearable and analyse one of Russell T Davies' more notable episodes. It was hard to say goodbye to Billy, but I'll fully admit I've cried watching the ending a couple of times in my life. But of course there's more to this story than just that. There's Cybermen, Daleks, parallel universes, ghosts, battles, and channel flicking, all of which will be covered in today's review. It's been a long time coming, this video, and I'm one of these people that likes finishing what they've started. And I know tens of thousands of you like seeing this stuff as well, but how would you like to see more of my random thoughts and opinions on Doctor Who? You guys all know about stories, right? They're everywhere, on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, but they fizzle away so quickly that they never seem to have real value. This is why I've hooked up with Amino, an app with stories where I can exhibit additional thoughts, as well as providing insight into how I make my videos. I'm currently making a story ranking my top 10 companions for the Revival series. I know you want to see that, right? Click on the link in the description or simply search Amino on your app store and get the app today, where you can see my stories simply by searching my channel name. Follow me and click the bell just like on YouTube so you can be notified whenever I upload content on there too. You want to know the best part about all this though? Every time you watch my content on Amino, you'll be supporting the channel financially, just like when you watch an ad on my YouTube videos. Amino is a simple and free way of helping me continue to do what I do, so go check out my stories in the link below. Now, without further ado, let's get on with the review. Army of Ghosts starts out with an intro that's kinda corny, but we get this sense that everything's gonna end in doom and gloom, with Rose being at the very heart of it. It hooks you in with her claiming this to be the story of her death, as though she's narrating it from beyond the grave. As I was watching what would have been spectacular special effects for 2006, I began to wonder why the episode looks like an old YouTube video on my big TV. I am watching this on Netflix though, so I can't speak for owners of the Blu-ray box sets, so I'd be curious to know if the same stretching effect takes place on there too.
Oh, honestly, who cares, Harry?
Hey, I bought this big TV to watch stuff on so I can analyse shots better, and Netflix is ruining the quality.
No, you bought it because you're a rich millionaire YouTuber now and you've forgotten all about me.
Well, I wrote you into the script, didn't I? Yeah. That's what I thought. The Doctor and Rose return to the Powell estate just in time for a ghost shift. The Torchwood theme music supports this strange event very well, with everybody going along with it because they pose no harm. The everydayness of these ghosts is displayed rather humorously with this TV flicking thing Russell T Davies loves to put into his scripts, and it goes so far that one ghost even had a role in EastEnders. It's a bit weird that Jackie's TV is also wired up to receive signals from France, India, and what I presume is Japan, but it seems to be suggesting that human beings will capitalize off anything unusual because our lives are just that boring. It's great that the Doctor sees right through the facade as well though, deducing his way into this phenomenon one step at a time. It's revealed the ghosts are briefly let loose from Torchwood Tower, what Series 2's ongoing arc had been building up to. I'm glad the arc wasn't as on the nose as Bad Wolf was, as it only connects directly to the Tooth and Claw story. The writers obviously hadn't come up with Torchwood in Series 1, so we needn't worry about episodes from then, but what about School Reunion or Idiot's Lantern? Torchwood is referenced, but I wish the institution had more direct involvement in those episodes than just being little Easter eggs like Bad Wolf. Just in case you didn't know this, but the word Torchwood is in fact an anagram of Doctor Who. At the tower is disposable character Gareth, and hey, it's Martha Jones! She's about to have a
snot,
only to find a Cyberman instead. That could have been awkward. This reveal came a little earlier for my liking, but sure enough, there are some Cybermen shown in the Next Time trailer at the end of Fear Her. Fine, whatever. But you didn't have to show this either.
Assuming alien authority over the rights of man.
They're bleeding.
It's almost like the producers were worried people would stop watching after those two shitty episodes, and quite frankly, I wouldn't blame them for thinking it, but God almighty, you could have at least kept the inclusion of the Daleks a mystery. Back on the estate, David Tennant starts whipping up some science together to find out where the ghosts are coming from. I will give credit to Tennant, not just in this episode, but all of them frankly, because he's obviously talking complete gobbledygook gobbledygook, but his ecstatic performance just lulls me into a drooling mess on my sofa. What he's talking about sounds totally convincing to me, even if it doesn't make an ounce of sense. Martha then comes back with some prehistoric Bluetooth earphones, and from here, things get flipping marvellous. You have the Doctor running on about Alonzo, and then receiving an applause from the Torchwood crew. It's like the Doctor's fan club have just come to meet him, only for Jackie, who considers herself kidnapped, to be pulled out of the TARDIS by mistake to greet all these people that idolise him. This is an absolutely classic moment from the revival that is just so awkward and hilarious, especially considering how the Doctor is totally unfazed by the situation. He just radiates cockiness and confidence, and I love it. The CEO of Torchwood, Yvonne Hartman, embodies a modern Queen Victoria, talking about the good of the British Empire, protecting our borders. Her spirit evidently lives on over 100 years later. It's effective because we have this hyper-tech institution that is anything other than stuck in the past in appearance, but the attitude and ideology has remained firm, causing the Doctor to be very bitter about the whole affair. He is a pseudo-prisoner after all. Torchwood is so far from what he would have wished for, to the point they're shooting down spaceships without warning, paralleling arms races great and small throughout human history. Yvonne even calls Torchwood a modern company despite refusing to use metric forms of measurement, which kinda matches Britain's stubborn insistence on keeping all its road signs in miles, not kilometres. Yvonne then goes full Nigel Farage though when she says that Britain will be fully independent with regards to energy, with the Doctor brilliantly explaining in his flamboyant and alluring way that the energy they're harnessing is going to smash the fabric of reality itself. All of the scenes involving the sphere are absolutely fantastic. This idea of the void, a space in between dimensions, an image impossibly frightening as described by the Doctor, but surrounded in mystery. His superior knowledge shines through though, not batting an eyelid to what I presume is Torchwood's top scientist, only to charge away from the room in defiance, with the most insignificant of errors undermining him to a hilarious degree. Suddenly, the ghost shift gets reactivated thanks to the people with the clunky earpieces. The climax of the episode begins with the same riveting music from the Cybermen episodes earlier in the series. This is followed by the Doctor zapping Martha and miraculously killing her boyfriends too. I think it was a bit much having Yvonne rip the earpiece out and brain splooge coming out with it though. Obviously there's not going to be any blood for a show that's on at 7 PM, but I would have thought it'd be more sensible for it to be simply fused to her ear and Yvonne being unable to remove it, as this would tie in with the cybernetic and biological themes that come with these reinvented Cybermen. The climatic ending is pretty exciting though, the sphere getting activated, the ghosts are coming and there's nothing that anyone can do to stop it. The Doctor and Yvonne go down to where the Cybermen are hanging out, which was kind of weird considering she had no idea at all this was even taking place in her own building, but on the flip side, it parallels the biblical tale of the Tower of Babel. These people in London built a giant skyscraper with all this incredible technology harbored inside, playing God and essentially raising the dead and fooling the populace into thinking it'd be safe. As much as the continuous TV flicking looks pretty tacky in 2019, I thought it was cool seeing the extent of the invasion of Cybermen across the Earth. And holy hell, the Dalek reveal is great as well. The music carries most of it, but the reveal itself, for anybody that wasn't paying attention to the Next Time trailer, is awesome. The two most iconic Doctor Who nemeses have been crammed together for all-out war, and a whole episode of annihilation awaits us. So aside from some tiddly little issues, Army of Ghosts sets up the series finale excellently. David Tennant carries a lot of it with his beautiful performance, supported by a great cast and, as always, the score. It builds itself up steadily surrounding Torchwood, a parallel unit if you like, and even if you're watching this episode 13 years on, it still holds up as a great episode all the same. I give Army of Ghosts a 9 out of 10. Irritatingly, Doomsday opens up with the exact same hook as the start of Army of Ghosts. In my opinion, we should have jumped straight into the opening title sequence just like Rose's first episode did. Fortunately, the episode does get off on the right foot though, with Rose standing her ground against the Daleks, probably because she didn't get much of a chance to do it last episode. In fact, she didn't get much of a chance to do anything last episode. Meanwhile, we have this awesomely quick montage of the Cybermen fighting humanity, with the leader chanting an ominous message to the people of Earth. I've always admired how the Cybermen embody this removal of the individual, and this can be seen when the Cyber leader talks about creating a world without rich or poor, men or women, black or white. Marx would be proud. Back at Torchwood Tower, the lead scientist, whose name I know but you can't remember, gets his face sucked off by the Daleks. It sounds horrifying. Kudos to the sound department for getting this balloon inflating to the point of bursting sound effect to match his screams. Ugh. What follows, with Dalek Thay encountering these two Cybermen in the corridor, is an awesome showdown. This is the first point of contact between these two evil races, and it's intense as hell. They size each other up, even offering an alliance, which in itself would be a nightmare. But this idea gets shut down fairly quickly, with the Dalek finishing both of them off, identifying which species is superior. I loved it when Dalek Sec really rubs it in by saying they only need one of them to kill all the Cybermen, claiming it to be a mere matter of pest control. Sec also has more character than I was expecting, alongside this confrontation with the Cybermen. When Rose asks him what's inside the Genesis Ark, he seems almost excited to proclaim that it's the future. This same excitement flares up when she taunts him about burning the Dalek Emperor to a crisp, as she is merely biding time for the Doctor to inevitably come along in the nick of time and rescue her and Mickey. After that, the Doctor takes a little trip to the Upside Down, the parallel universe, where he meets Parallel Pete again. I love the transformation of this character. From the bumbling idiot we saw in Father's Day, another episode I really should have reviewed, but sod it, get me 50 patrons and I'll do it, to this hardened businessman torn by the loss of his wife and the far from positive outlook for his reality. Both his and Jackie's storylines are tied up in a neat little bow when they bump into each other later on. A truly beautiful scene, if I do say so myself. It's a struggle for both of them because they've witnessed each other dying, and to see them in front of each other in this hellish environment must be strange, to say the least. There's also this gorgeous violin music playing underneath too that swells just as they reconnect, and it was truly wonderful to pause the action for this reconnection. Well, apart from this comment.
There was never anyone else.
Oh, Elton, I should have you on tap. Oh, you don't meet many Eltons, do you? Oh, you lovely big fella. Here we are, complete strangers, and I'm flashing you my knickers. I used to have this little mate called Mickey. He did all that stuff.
In spite of everything mopey and depressing surrounding the Doctor, from Pete to the darkened reality he inhabits, the Doctor is still cheery after being egged on to once again save the day. He blunders his way into the sphere room, where he is an absolute treat to watch. It's pretty much a given that he's never going to die in a Dalek's presence, so I can hardly complain about him waltzing in unscathed. Why should I expect anything otherwise? It gets worse because Mickey the idiot goes and touches the Ark. This sequence is edited rather quickly to give it a chaotic vibe, but god damn it, Mickey, you had one job! The action sequence where the Daleks fight their way into the alien relic room is goddamn awesome. Considering the limited budget of the show and how close to the camera all the action taking place is, everything looks so jam-packed with humans, Cybermen, Daleks, and god, these Dalek reveals just keep on coming. A flood of imprisoned Daleks just fly out in all directions, and it all makes total sense. The Doctor describing it in his dramatic and dread-inducing way just sends goosebumps right through my body, and the Daleks just rain hell on everything around them. Fortunately, the Doctor's got a plan up his sleeve involving the Void stuff, which he explains to Rose with his 3D glasses. I think it's a great look for him. It adds to his erratic behaviour well, but I don't think they linger long enough on these shots to establish what exactly the Void stuff looks like. Either way, it solves the problem of all these Cybermen and Daleks floating around and killing everyone, so of course I'm on board. The best part about this plan, though, is that any time travelers or dimension hoppers are going to get sucked out of this reality like a vacuum into a vacuum. Genius! This does unfortunately mean that Rose isn't going to be able to hang about, because otherwise she'll get sucked into the vacuum too. Jackie has a hissy fit about it, and I honestly wish that Rose had just said to her mum, "Listen, I'm a fully grown adult and I can make my own decisions, thank you very much." But instead we get some blubber about the Doctor being the best and worrying about him getting lonely. Have some goddamn self-respect! I have to say though, the Daleks and the Cybermen getting sucked back into Canary Wharf is hilariously fun to watch. These big metal beings, the Doctor's worst nightmares, are just weightless in this black hole that's been opened up. Everything starts intensifying as Rose's lever mysteriously starts pushing itself back again, as she heroically pushes it back into place, but at the cost of her own safety. She loses grip and gets pulled into the void, only for Pete to save her in the nick of time. Now, emotions in the audience will be high at this point, so anything miraculous is wonderful, and I'm willing to carve out some leeway for the drama of the story, but seriously, how could Pete, know the exact moment Rose would need catching, if at all. You know what I think? I think that an argument took place in the parallel universe between Jackie and Pete about getting Rose to safety, and that would lead him to warping back again anyway, so that's not really too much of a problem. In fact, it kind of feels natural to picture it this way. I'll go one step further. Jackie would be absolutely ruined if she lost her daughter and was stuck with the quote-unquote ghost of her husband. Basically, what I'm saying is, had he not done this, the story would not have been a good story. And it also matches Father's Day as well, because obviously Rose saves her father from the car, and now he is saving her from death too. You know what is a load of baloney though? How the Doctor managed to haul this poor family all the way to Norway through Rose's dreams and voices inside her head. Any ordinary family would have sent her to the council. Sorry, let me try that again. Any ordinary family would send her to counselling instead of indulging these fantasies of hers. All jokes aside, the Doctor and Rose do share a connection to the TARDIS. All that happened in the finale of the first series gives them a connection that transcends space and time. Whether this scene on the beach happened in her bedroom or anywhere else is irrelevant. What's important is that the Doctor is sacrificing an incredible amount to give Rose the send-off she deserves. The pair's relationship appears to be the first romantic entanglement between Doctor and companion, which is pretty bold in my opinion. And screw the haters, I'm a sucker for soppy romantic endings like this. Rose couldn't care less if both universes collapse. This was the one meaningful thing she had in her life, and it's been stripped away from her by fate. It's probably crueler that she's left alive to deal with life without the Doctor, but I'm surprised nobody suggested the possibility of there being a parallel universe Doctor to look for. I guess Russell thought about this only too late, and that's where the cloning of the Doctor in season 4 comes from, but still, this moment is heart-wrenching for a first-time viewer. The close-ups, the music, the separation of two characters that share a powerful connection. They're so overwhelmed with emotion, and God damn, it's sad. The Doctor being cut off before he can say the magic words is just tragic, and my God, Murray Gold's music just hits the sweet spot. I love this scene. I guess the point of it all is that we'll never get the Doctor to admit that he loved a human, because the show must go on. So, did it suck? No. I had a blast rewatching this episode. I didn't cry this time around because I had to keep pausing the episode to take notes, but that didn't stop me enjoying it for the millionth time. I always thought the Doctor and Rose made a good pair. Both are fun and chirpy in this series, showing a transformation physically and mentally since he was Chris Eccleston. It's not just the pairing of these two that comes to an end though, it's this wonderful dynamic between Rose, Jackie and Mickey that is leaving us in this story. When I watch series 11 where Ryan, Yaz and Graham are dragged into every single adventure, it feels bloated and nobody gets any development. But in these two series, not having Jackie and Mickey in every episode makes it so much more flavorful and fun when they do show up. They can be irritating, but it's done with limitation and purpose. The episode itself is numerous in its qualities. The action, the romance, the characters, the performances, the music, the twists and turns of the story. Oh my God, I nearly forgot to mention Yvonne, I did my duty for Queen and Country Hartman. What a fantastic twist that was too. Anything I felt negatively towards this episode I can easily put aside just because of the time period it was made in, or just because there's normally a good counter argument for them that springs to mind as soon as I start to entertain them. This is hands down one of my favourite episodes of New Who, and I give Doomsday a 10 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Seriously, if I get over 50 patrons, consider that Father's Day video done. I know I mentioned a bunch of desktop backgrounds for patrons as well 2 videos ago, but it's taking a while to fish them out of my porn collection. What did you think of these 2 episodes? Leave your comments below and feel free to join us for a chat on the Discord server, where we will continue this discussion. Oh yeah,